A script from skitguys.com. The Last Days, Judas' Betrayal by Rebecca Weimer. A narrative of a man who betrayed Jesus and the surrounding events.
On the darkest of nights, a plot was thickening, and on this deepening night, a certain character was being revealed. One that would for all earthly time reign in history as a character known for his turned heart, his thorough misunderstanding of God.
Judas Iscariot, a name synonymous with betrayal on its most profound level. Judas Iscariot, chosen by the Messiah to follow him. Judas Iscariot, he was brother to Jesus. Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot. Not many children running around with the name Judas Iscariot.
Judas was with Jesus dining in Mary and Martha's home. He reclined at the table with him. Then Mary took a pint of an expensive perfume and poured it on Jesus' feet, wiping his feet with her hair. Judas objected, disgusted, saying,
"Why wasn't this perfume sold and money given to the poor? Why, it's worth a year's wages at least. What a waste! Just a waste."
Judas didn't say any of these things because he was in the least bit concerned about the poor. No, he said these things because he was a thief.
A keeper of the money bag. Judas used it for his own personal use, helping himself to what was put into it.
So as Judas sat at that Last Supper, he sat with evil's darkness, already solidly entangled with his being.
Just hours before, Judas had sought out the chief priests, asking them,
"What are you willing to give me if I finally give you what you want? If I deliver Jesus over to you, what will you give me?"
30 pieces of silver.
And with the sound of the promised riches tinkling in his ears, Judas watched for an opportunity to hand over his rabbi, his faithful friend. Until then, he returned to his side, finding himself sharing a meal in an upper room.
The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas to betray Jesus when Jesus spoke.
"Truly, I tell you, one of you will betray me."
Then the disciples all looked one to another with surprise and something like horror. Betray him? Who would betray Jesus? Who would betray their rabbi, their friend? Certainly never one of those closest to him, one of those who sat in that very room.
Judas said, "Surely you don't mean me, Rabbi."
And Jesus answered, "You have said so."
Satan entered Judas, and Jesus, resigned to the fateful choices of his friend, spoke to Judas, saying, "What you are about to do, do quickly."
Judas slinked out of the room, returning to his conspirators on the sly. Into the night he stole, the sound of the 30 pieces of promised silver jingling in his ears, soon to be jingling in his pockets. The priests and elders had promised him that much, and he watched as around him a mob quickly assembled, and he explained where to find Jesus. He knew where they might be going.
The Mount of Olives, the Garden of Gethsemane.
Judas marched the mob up the narrow pass, guiding them further into the darkness until they were face to face with some stunned disciples and the Savior of the world.
Judas slithered out from amongst the mob, moving with calculated intent. He had arranged this moment. The soldiers would know to arrest by the signal Judas gave.
1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. And he's next to him. Jesus is staring back at him. For a moment, could he have hesitated? Could he have thought a sack of silver, shiny metal pieces of metal, wasn't worth this? Wasn't worth what might to come? If he did, it didn't stop him. Judas leaned in, saying,
"Greetings, Rabbi."
Jesus asked him, "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?"
The deed was done. In a flash, Jesus was under arms and being dragged away. And now Judas was left alone with his precious silver. So little silver, so great a legacy.
So sad a legacy.
Judas watched as they led the world's great rescuer deep into the dark, sinister blackness before him. His trusting friend, now led away like a common crook and soon condemned to die.
And Judas sank deeper into his own darkness because when he walked, he heard it.
Clink, clink, clink.
The 30 pieces of silver he now carried clashed together like a chorus of clanging cymbals.
Clink, clink, clink.
The sound of those sparkling little coins as he moved was deafening to his ears, maddening to his spirit. They tormented him to his very soul.
Clink, clink, clink.
He was running now, his hands white-knuckled, gripping the coins, trying to silence their clamor. He was filled with remorse, and a dark shadow chased him as he ran.
Bursting through the doors, he fell upon the priests and elders once more.
"Take it back! Take it all back!"
Judas shouted at the men who had paid him to betray his friend, but their response was less than sympathetic. "What do you want? You have your blood money. Now go!"
"I have sinned. I have betrayed an innocent man. I have betrayed my friend. I didn't understand anything. Why he lived the way he lived. Why he will die the way he will die. I didn't understand him."
"What do we care? That's your problem. Now get out of our sight."
Judas had tried to wash his hands of it. He tried to undo what he had done, but it could not be undone.
Clink, clink, clink.
Unclenching his fist from around the money bag of silver, Judas tossed it at their feet, and in a frenzy he fled.
And the coins, they scattered.
And the disciples, they scattered.
Judas was scattered and surrendered his life to an obliging tree.
A life sold.
A sad legacy now told, and for what?
30 pieces of silver. Lord, have mercy.